Hi, and welcome back to the Boardroom Company Live. This is the podcast for professionals who are looking to build a board career. Any board career, it can be corporate, can be nonprofit. Doesn't really matter what stage you're at. There can be an opportunity for you. Today, I'm going to be talking about the one word that you need to stop using today to increase your chances of getting onto a board. Now, let me premise this, that the word I'm going to tell you may come as a surprise. It may not seem like something that you need to stop saying, but when I talk to you about the context of it, I think it'll make sense. So let's put it into context. A lot of people that I speak to, they're often at the early stages of thinking about their board career or starting their board career or starting to look for a board opportunity. And what they tend to do is they start to go out to speak to people and what they call to do research with some of the most influential people in their network, people who serve on boards, people who are chairs of boards, CEOs that, run boards. And they tend to have these conversations when they're not prepared and when they don't have a plan. So the word that I'm going to give you, the word that you should stop using today in order to increase your chances of getting onto a board, is based around this concept of when you're having conversations with people, what are people saying that's really giving them the wrong impression? And so the word, I'm going to reveal it, the word is think, the verb to think. So I'll give you an example. People will approach their network and say, I think I want to join a board. They'll say, I think I'm going to be, looking for a board seat soon. Or I'm going to retire in 2026 or 2027, and I think I want to serve on boards. Or they might say, I think I want to sit on a private equity-backed board. Every time they say, I think, it's giving me the impression that you're just not sure. And it's something that perhaps you're still thinking about, right? It's something you're still mulling over. You haven't made a decision yet. And so this is so important that when you go to your network and the people around you, the influential crowd that surround you, that have the opportunity to recommend you, to refer you, to say a good word on your behalf, instead of the want to do on a board, instead what they get is, I think I want to do this. I'm just not sure, right? So I often say to people, if someone came to you and said, hey, I'd really like a job, I'm not really sure what kind of job. I think I want a job next year. I don't know in what area. I think it's this area, but still not sure. Would you recommend them to somebody to go to a job interview? I think the answer is no, right? The answer is definitely no. So the same thing goes with boards. My advice is twofold. One is, do not speak to your network until you are ready to speak to your network. Your network are going to be able to move mountains for you. They're going to be able to introduce you to some of the most influential people. They can make stuff happen for you. Or they can just stay quiet and go, that's great. I'm so happy to hear that, you're looking to join a board or you're thinking about joining a board next year, but you haven't quite got there yet. So I'm going to wait, right? I'm going to wait until you can tell me exactly what it is that you're looking for. And the second thing that you want to do is go ahead and get that plan. Put that plan together. Okay, so before you go out to your network, stop talking to people right now. Stop having conversations. Stop trying to book meetings. Stop doing your research. Stop trying to explore. People that are able to make introductions for you are not the people that you should be exploring this with. So you might be asking, well, what's in a plan, right? What should my plan be? What's my plan? Well, the first part of your plan is to determine what kinds of boards are a good fit for you. And you have to look at a number of different things. You have to look at what is your experience? Where have you been? What experiences have you had? What skill sets do you have, right, around those areas? What types of businesses have you been in? Size, ownership, location, right? All of this is going to make a big difference to the kinds of boards that will be a good fit. The next piece is, what are your attributes, right? Some people are a really good fit for private equity backed boards. Some are really good fit for a public company board. And it's not just their experience, it's their attributes. It's the kind of person they are, right? The role of a board director on each of those boards that I've just described, or a family-owned board, are totally different, right? So it's really important to figure that out, and don't go to your network until you've figured it out. The second step is to understand the roles and responsibilities of those boards. Every board is a little bit different. And so if you approach a private equity, let's say, operating partner to talk about your corporate board career, and you're talking the language of a family-owned business, or you're talking the language of a publicly traded company, that's not going to resonate very well with them. And the first thing they're going to think is, Naomi, she's great. I think she's got a lot of potential, but this isn't the area for her, right? I don't think she's in the right place. But here's the fun fact. All of you might be thinking, well, no one's ever said that to me. They don't say that to you. That's the sad part, is you rarely get the feedback from people saying, hey, this is what you didn't do well, and this is what you did do well. Even search consultants, right? People in the search community, they generally won't either. You just won't get a call. But you never know that until years later, right? So you need to know what kinds of boards, you need to know the role. The next step is you need to know what are the 3 things you bring to these boards. I mean, 3 is a nice rounded number, but it could be 4, it could be 2. I don't care. You have to have a really solid idea about what you bring to these boards. Where is your subject matter expertise? Now, don't forget, it's good to go broad, have a broad understanding of all of the opportunities that are out there. Of all of the roles, right, and the responsibilities that are out there for board members. But you should have your subject matter expertise. The next thing that you want to do, and what needs to be in your plan, is you need to have really good paperwork. You need to have a bio or a board resume that you're really proud of. You need to have an executive resume ready to go, because if you apply for board seats, that needs to come with it. Your LinkedIn needs to match up. The profile, just the profile, needs to be telling the story. Watch what comments you're making, watch what posts you're making on LinkedIn. Are these all aligned with your direction, right, of where you want to go? And then the final piece is you need to do a relationship map. So before you go to speak to your network, figure out who are actually the right people to speak to. Because again, if you're going to speak, you're trying to get into family-owned businesses, and you have a friend who sits on 4 public company boards, they may not be the right person to speak to. They may be, but I wouldn't prioritize them, right? Because they'll be very in deep with publicly traded companies, and they're more likely to give you advice about publicly traded company boards. So that's just the difference there. You're going to line all of that up. So going back to the one word that you want to stop using is, I think I'm doing this, I think I'm doing that. What I'd love to hear is an actual plan. So instead of, I think I want to join a corporate board, you say, my plan is to join a corporate board in 2026. I'm seeking out private equity-backed companies in the industrial space and manufacturing between the size of 50 million to 150 million, or whatever the number is, right? Whatever the example is. That's what I would like to hear. If I were meeting with you tomorrow, and you came to me and said, hey, I really want to be on a board, I would want to hear your plan. I don't want to hear you asking me for help or asking me what I think you should be doing. That's another one. Don't ask anybody what you should be doing. So next time, if you have a meeting booked, I want you to take very good care of how you treat the individual, what you say, how you say it, and take all of that language that creates an impression of doubt and change that language to an impression of confidence, and give them the plan. Tell them what the plan is. And if you're not sure what your plan is, give me a call. I can work it through with you. I've worked with hundreds of people who are trying to get onto boards, and I've seen thousands and thousands of board profiles and watched people build their board career over 23 years. So contact me. I can absolutely take 5-10 minutes. We can look at your background. I can give you an idea of where that direction may be and how likely it is and what the chances are of you getting there. So thanks very much. Hope this was helpful. If you'd like to subscribe to my newsletter, it's at www.theboardroomco.com. I also have a podcast, The Boardroom Co. Live, and of course my YouTube channel has a lot of my podcasts, but in video format if you prefer the video. So thank you, everyone. Again, avoid that heavy word, think. Okay, thanks so much. Bye.